Manning coming to you live for a Scott Manning College Football Report. I want to thank you guys for being with me here tonight. I got 3 big games I need to talk about on the schedule for this week. Number 11, Michigan faces number 13, Wisconsin. I also have number 8, Auburn versus number 17, Texas A&M. And, of course, the big main event Saturday night, number 7, Notre Dame versus number 3, Georgia. This is a big weekend in college football, and it's a very important one at that. So we're just going to jump right into it. I got a lot I want to talk about here tonight, and we're just going to go ahead and just jump right into it. We started out at 12 noon today. Number 11, Michigan faces number 13, Wisconsin. This is a huge game. 2 weeks ago, the last time we saw Michigan in action, they nearly got humiliated by Army. But they barely escaped over them, 24-21. Shea Patterson only went 19-29 for 207 yards, but he was sacked 4 times. He has 410 yards passing for the season and 4 touchdowns on this young season. But now, Michigan goes into the Big Ten opener, and it's against Wisconsin, and they have to go on the road. That is not going to be fun at all. And that's the facts, folks. That's the facts. Since 2001, Michigan is 0-4 at Camp Randall. That is huge. And the Wisconsin defense is not going to help them much out either, because Wisconsin's defense has only allowed 108 yards total offense in the first 2 games of their season, and they have pitched 2 shutouts. So is there concern for Michigan? Yes, there is. But Wisconsin, they have Jack Cohn, 564 yards and 5 touchdowns on the season. In the 61-0 shutout of Central Michigan last Saturday, Jack Cohn went 26-33 for 363 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is a huge game. This is a top 15 matchup. Michigan did not look good against Army, and they dropped a spot after the bye week. And Wisconsin is looking to get some revenge. They want to take Michigan apart. And right now, Wisconsin is a 3-point favorite going into this ball game. And there's a lot of things to talk about there too. Wisconsin has a fantastic defense. They've always had. But Michigan, this is a must-win. Because we may be talking about the Big Ten title hunt. And I know it's early in the season, but it's not too early to be thinking about the Big Ten championship title hunt. This could be a big help because a lot of people did pick Michigan to win the Big Ten conference. And the bottom line is, if they struggle like they did, they're in trouble. All right. The next game I want to talk about. Number 8 Auburn versus number 17 Texas A&M. Surprisingly, Texas A&M is a 3-point favorite. But keep in mind, both teams have been road tested already. Both teams have been tested away from home this season. Bo Nix for Auburn, 545 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Last Saturday in Auburn's big win, 55-16 win over Kent State, he went 12-6 for 161 yards and a touchdown. Texas A&M, Kellen Mound, he's been fantastic. 747 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Last Saturday in Clemson's 62-3 win over Louisiana Monroe, Mound went 20-38 for 317 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And yes, both teams this is going to be a big test for both Auburn and Texas A&M. Bo Nix does have a 27-21 victory over Auburn. Over Oregon, I mean. Keep that in mind. So he's been tested already this season. Texas A&M, they've already been tested against ranked opponents. They lost to number 1 Clemson 24-10. And this is the first true real road test for the true freshman quarterback Bo Nix. Auburn coach Gene Kisnick said, "I got a great quarterback. I think he can get the job done against Texas A&M. I want to see what this kid can do on the road. And if he can get the job done there, I'll say he's earned my respect." But the bottom line is this. We got a lot of things to talk about too. And the bottom line is he can get the job done. Now Kellen Mound, keep in mind, he's a great quarterback too for Texas A&M. I'm not taking anything away from him at all. But I will say this. Whoever wants it the most is going to be the one that gets it the most. And the truth of the matter is, Texas A&M, I think they could be in the driver's seat. They are a 3-point favorite, and a lot of people are giving them a 70%, and the Football Power Index is giving them a 70% shot of winning this ball game. But here's the truth of the matter. How will they do against number 8 Auburn? Bo Nix says this is his first true road test. And we'll have to wait and see what happens there. and I'm going to say this now. This is a battle for the SEC West. If Alabama, by some act of God, loses somewhere during the season, don't be surprised if we could see LSU, Texas A&M, or Auburn come knocking on the door to knock them off. Auburn could be the team to do it. LSU, they could probably possibly knock off Alabama. They got Joe Burrow, but that's for another time. But I'm going to say this too. If Auburn can beat Texas A&M in College Station, then they're going to prove to me that they belong in the battle in the SEC West. And Bo Nix will really earn my respect. All right. The last game I want to talk about, I'm only talking about 3 of them tonight because these are the 3 big ranked matchups this week. Last week I thought it was going to be a lackluster. This week could be huge. Number 7 Notre Dame versus number 3 Georgia. This is an 8 o'clock primetime game on CBS. Keep that in mind. And a lot of people in the SEC are crying, oh, they're going to get a primetime matchup. LSU, Alabama ain't. Wham. Now, LSU and Alabama, Notre Dame and Georgia have met 3 times in the history of these 3 schools. This is going to be the 3rd ever meeting. Georgia's won the previous 2. The 81 Sugar Bowl. Georgia beat Notre Dame 17-10. In that game, all they needed was Herschel Walker, and Vince Dooley got him. Herschel Walker ran all up and down the field, and that's how Georgia got the job done. Georgia quarterback Buck Bellew only completed 1 pass in that game. And Georgia went on to win the 1980 National Championship. And in 2017, in the 2nd ever meeting, Georgia went into South Bend to spoil the party for Notre Dame 20-19. A lot of people in South Bend have not forgotten about that game. They want to come down to Athens and go right into the heart of Dixie to spoil Georgia's party. Will that happen? That remains to be seen. But surprisingly, Georgia is a 14-point favorite, and a lot of people in the SEC are saying Georgia's just going to annihilate them. I'm not so sure about that, and here's why. Ian Book, 553 yards, 6 touchdowns on the season. He has 127 yards rushing on the season and 2 touchdowns. Last Saturday in Notre Dame's win over New Mexico, he was 15-24, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns. Now, Jake Fromm, he's been very impressive on the season. He has 601 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. Last Saturday in Georgia's 55-0 shutout over Arkansas State, he was only 17-22 for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. However, this could be the difference maker in this game for Georgia. DeAndre Swift, look out for him. He can run the ball. He has 31 rushes on the season, 290 yards and 2 touchdowns. That could be the difference maker in this game. Notre Dame, Georgia. Georgia's won the previous 2 meetings. A lot of it's because of the run game. 81 Sugar Bowl. Herschel Walker, he ran all past the Notre Dame defense in that game. Back in 2017, it wasn't a spectacular victory. It was a sloppy game. Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly went up in front of the press and said, we're going to go down to the heart of Dixie, and we're going to spoil the party. Georgia coach Kirby Smart said, I'd like to see him try. I'll tell you right now. I'll arm all the Georgia fans with a nice long thick leather strap, and I'll give them both by-God license and authority to whip the bejesus out of them. Well, I'll say this. We'll see what happens. Now, both teams have long droughts since her last national championship. Notre Dame hasn't won a national title since forever. Georgia's last national championship, 1980. It's been that long for the Bulldogs. Let's see, Georgia's been through Vince Dooley, I know Mark Richt, and now Kirby Smart. Notre Dame's been through so many coaches. The last time Notre Dame won a national title, Lou Holtz was there, back in the 80s. But this is going to be a national title run. Whoever wins this game could be in the driver's seat for the national championship. That's all there is to it, my friends. And I know I've talked a lot about Alabama and I've talked a lot about LSU. But the fact of the matter is, whoever wins this game will be in the driver's seat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close it out with a closing thought. As all of you know, BYU shocked USC in Provo last Saturday, 30-27. Clay Helton, USC coach Clay Helton's seat is now on the sun. It's not going to get any easier for the USC Trojans, and here's why. 6 of their last 9 games are against ranked opponents. And 4 of those 6 games are on the road. The only 2 home games are number 10 Utah, and that's tomorrow night, and number 16 Oregon. And the other 4 road games are number 22 Washington, number 7 Notre Dame, number 24 Arizona State, and number 23 Cal. USC is in trouble. JT Daniels is done for the season due to injury. Kelton Salvis, he has 715 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 3 of those were last Saturday against BYU. And last year, USC didn't even get a bowl game. They only went 5-7 last year. And I'll tell you right now, the USC student body, the alumni, the school administration, the deans, and everybody associated with Southern Cal has zero tolerance for that. They have zero tolerance, and right now, Clay Helton's seat is on the sun. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, USC was number 24 Saturday against BYU, and they get embarrassed. Their quarterback is a joke, and they don't have much. They don't have much of a run game. The defense is questionable at best, and now they're going to go into the toughest part of the Pac-12 schedule, and they don't have anything to show for it. They're 1-0 in conference play. I'll give them that. But when you got to face number 10 Utah, number 22 Washington, and you got 6 of 9 games against ranked opponents, and you got to go on the road to face 4 of those 6, there's a problem. But the bottom line is this. Clay Helton has got to really prove himself now, or otherwise he's out at USC. And on top of that, athletic director Lynn Swan stepped down just right before the BYU game. So Clay Helton's been getting it from all ends. What will happen? What will happen tomorrow night against Utah? We'll have to wait and see on that. But the bottom line is, Clay Helton's job is really on the line. And that's all I have to say tonight. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for taking this time with me. I know it's only just about a quick 10-15 minute video, but I want to thank you guys so much for being here with me. Tuesday night, I will be back to hand out the game balls, give you my review on some of the games that I've watched. I'll be possibly talking about these 3 and a few others. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here tonight. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless. Good night, everybody, and thank you.